What is that?
I don't know what I've done. Don't worry, guys. I've started a car before.
Episode 3, we're still standing. That's where we're at. We had a couple hurdles. The main one was when we turned the water on. The house was a full sprinkler. I didn't know where the water was coming from. It was like through the drywall, and luckily he was here to calm me down because it was 9 p.m.
We found nine broken pipes, at least so far. The meter has stopped turning, so we're at the point where if it is a leak, it's not too bad.
We replaced 7, and then all of a sudden the thing was still going, the meter was still going, and it was 9 p.m. and I was like, don't make me go to Home Depot one more time.
Good thing Home Depot's open till 10, so you got a wide work window.
We took our dumpster away and we took down the steps. We decided not to keep the fireplace. I know we talked about originally we're gonna keep that. We don't think that's as much of a value add. And we painted. We painted this weekend.
Well, we started.
We started painting. There's one layer, and it costs way more than we thought.
Yeah, and it looks like a haunted house at the moment.
But I love it. Okay, we knew that this house was vacant for a long time, like 2.5 years, but these pipes that were broken, this was in the drywall. This is how copper pipes break when they're frozen. So probably at one time, the water was turned off, and then it just sat in the pipes. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
and it just burst, and it probably burst in multiple spots because no one drained the water out, so.
Yep.
Anyways, once we had 6 of them, 7 of them, there was a couple more, and you can actually see them in the drywall. They were right near the hot water heater, and we ended up taking down the drywall in the garage so that when we patch it, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's better done than perfect.
Yep. Yeah, picture 9 sprinkler holes when the water pressure was on, just shooting out of crawl space walls.
Okay, but this crawl space is one of the nicest crawl spaces.
It is. I can stand up straight in it, so.
Replacing this wasn't the worst.
Yep.
So imagine this has drywall and then all this insulation, and this is not mold, this is just dust. So basically these were just spewing out, right? Those little seams that had split, and the drywall was just soaked. So we ended up knowing that this is a concrete slab. There couldn't have been pipes besides that one, which could still potentially have a leak. We used one of these little dandy tools. I think these things are so cool. So basically there's a cutter right there, and then the pipe sits right here, and you squeeze every round, you go a little tighter, and then you rotate it. I think that's so cool. And then you can replace all of these. So these ones are the patched ones, and then because this one had a little bit more of a turn, we had to cut off more of that that pipe.
Yeah, and these aren't fully secured yet. This is just, we got everything, all the holes out, making sure it's holding water pressure.
So now we can actually turn the water on, and then I was able to power wash, because that was our big thing, that I was like so excited to power wash, and he's like, let's just do it on Thursday, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it on the weekend. Yeah. So we're 3 days ahead.
3 days ahead of schedule, because she pushed us.
I had to. Our first episode, we had talked about keeping the fireplace as a value add, but once we got to the logistics of the layout in here, we realized that the fridge is probably gonna go here, and it would have been so weird to have that right there. So we were like, well, let's move it over. But if we move it over, we're gonna have to replace that and patch the roof anyways, so.
Yeah, so we ended up that the flue of the stove came down right at the top of the vault in the ceiling.
You can kind of see where it's still being patched.
We had the option of, we're not gonna give away too many spoilers of what the kitchen layout is, but the refrigerator is gonna go right around here. And so there's an end cap on that. And at that point, there's really no aesthetically pleasing way to have the stove right next to the refrigerator. And so, which is still in the cards, what we might do is do a wall exit for the stove, have it over here.
We just like, is that cute? I don't know. That doesn't like give off cute vibes to me right now.
Here we go, that's what we should do. Hey, hit the like button if you like the stove.
Let's do a live poll of this one.
But that's going to depend on, so A, if the stove was there, it would look silly to have the flue come up, over, and then out. It just takes up a ton of wall space. And then if it is there, then we also have to think of, modern day people, TVs, entertainment systems. So like that takes up a ton of wall space. So where are the TVs?
But everyone talks about how this side of the road has gas and that side of the road doesn't have natural gas. So I feel like we want to take advantage of it, but our stove is already going to be electric, and then we don't have a stove now, or a burning stove for heat. So anyways, and the thing that's silly about this argument is people think that if the electricity goes out, then you'll have gas, but the gas stove needs electricity to start, so it's kind of a silly argument. Yeah. So we might just take it out. Who knows? We will see, TBD. The next thing we did was take out these steps, our front door steps. Oh my gosh, and we tried to get a new door. We found a Facebook Marketplace new door, and I drove down to La Pine to go pick it up, and it was 8 feet tall, which wouldn't work here. So we ended up not getting it, but we took out these steps, and we're going to reconfigure this. Those steps were super dangerous and needed to go. Hopefully a new door will come in too. What was the last thing we did? Painted the outside? We started painting.
So I think the last video we had, this was all exposed. So we picked up that drywall hoist off Facebook Marketplace, and we lifted drywall sheets up to cover the old drop ceiling.
That drywall hoist is essential to doing this. We could not have done that with just me holding the drywall.
We would have fought a lot.
We would have fought a lot. It would not have ended well. That saved us a lot of
But
fights.
so the hard part about that is, and you can't really see it now, we've kind of feathered it out pretty good. But for some reason, and I think it was just a discrepancy in the trusses, but we used the same thickness drywall as the original house was, and it was about a 1/4 inch off.
Yeah, you can come see it over here. There's like the old drywall texture and then the new drywall texture that we have here that we haven't textured yet, and we're not actually done feathering it. So what he means is this side was thicker and this side was thinner, and to feather it, we had to create the same distance between those two. So we added some mud to it, but we have more mud to add to this.
Yep.
Still. It just takes so many layers. Basically, we've done it every time we arrive, we'll start doing the mudding, and then every time we leave, we try to do the mudding as well because it has to be dry.
Yep. So we're probably, what are we on? 5?
At
layer
least.
5, layer 6.
Yeah.
So there's probably 8 to 9 spackle layers that we're gonna do. After that, we'll wet sand it, make sure everything is nice and smooth. We just don't want to put texture on the ceiling and then see a bump, see where that seam used to be.
The discrepancy.
Yeah, because you just want it to be a high quality.
So
Kenzie did the exterior.
I painted the exterior. Yeah. I tried to avoid painting the fascia on here because it'll be black and then there'll actually be gutters on here. And so I'm gonna hand paint that with a roller. But this was all sprayed and then just sprayed the interior after we power washed and we scraped away. I tried to get as much old paint off as possible and then puttied any holes. But it's tricky. This stuff has 2 ends here. So if you spray it this way and you don't get it this way, I'm already noticing. I need to redo that. Oh well.
Oops.
Oops.
She saves the oopsies for the railing.
Yeah. I'm not super detail oriented.
Nice.
But I did power wash.
Railings nice.
Oh, we felled the tree.
Yep.
That was the whole thing. So we don't own a chainsaw, and we had texted 2 of our friends to see if they wanted to do it for us, thinking that they would want the wood. And we ended up taking a Sawzall, but then you had attached an old electrical, what was that? An extension cord?
There was an old extension cord that didn't have one of the plugs on it. I forget which plug. And it was long enough to where we climbed up the tree, tied it higher to the tree, so that was
And then he's like, you stand over there and you just pull this, and I'll just saw this off. Anyways, it worked out, and it's completely clear on that side. It was just too close to the roof.
Yep.
So we can show them that on the other side. We thought it would be a value add to have some sort of parking on the side of the house and having this space here, whether it's not like a huge trailer, but some sort of parking. So we took this tree down and it created a little bit more sunlight, and then also the tree branches were hanging over the roof, which created quite a few bugs. Just the potential for them digging into the roof, so we wanted to take those off. So we've had this fall, and here's the old stump. Boop. It was also kind of pushing on this fence, so that's all gone now.
All gone.
Sweet.
Lumberjack.
And it's free if anyone wants to come pick it up. I'm convinced someone's gonna get it.
Bentley might take it though. So first come, first serve. Bentley's on it.
Yeah.
But one thing too with the additional parking space is where this electrical here ends, this is where our mini split unit is gonna go. And so I had this issue on another house where you have a limited amount of space, just property line bursts against your house. So that mini split unit is probably gonna stick out, I would guess, 1.5 feet And so that takes away from, you know, right now it'd be fairly easy to, once that garbage pile is gone, to put a car here, put a trailer here, something like that. With a mini split, it's gonna shrink that space by about 2 feet. Oh God, you're gonna see that I don't know how to pop the trunk. Oh, there it is. All right, so our first problem was we didn't have power. Not that I knew that was gonna be our only problem, but so we picked up a new battery just to give us the opportunity to see if this thing would even crank. And so put a new battery in it and let's see what it does. Kenzie's favorite part's the lights, so we gotta make sure the lights work. Kenzie, your lights aren't going on now.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry, guys. I've started a car before. Hold on, I gotta adjust my seat. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Did I break them?
Did I just doing that?
I don't know what I've done.
Oh my God. It's so close.
It wants to.
I know. It really wants to. It wants to turn over.
All right, so if anyone knows
Anything about a
how to
Porsche.
fix it, that's what it does.
That's the sound it makes.
That's the sound it makes.
Oh.